Greetings and welcome to another episode of Titan Repairs. So if you're new to the channel, welcome. And if you're a returning viewer, thank you so much for the continued support. It seriously does mean a lot to me. And especially the interaction I've been having in the comments. I mean, I'm watching this channel grow little by little, and it makes me so happy, especially when people keep coming back and giving me positive feedback. So thank you. So today we have here something a little special. Now, just kind of a little bit of backstory. My state, we had a really bad storm within the last few weeks. I think it was a few weeks ago. And we had some massive flooding in the state. Like a lot of people's basements were flooded, and it was a mess. It was an absolute mess. Some towns were completely underwater, and you get the idea. So unfortunately, the owner of this N64, this is a flood victim. So the owner's sister reached out to me because she knows I do this kinds of things. She said, like, hey, here's the situation. Can you help us out? And I was like, yeah, sure, I'll take a look at this for you. So talking to the owner of the console when he dropped it off, he said that there was water up to the controller ports. So I really don't know what to expect when I go in here. I do have my theories on what could be the problem. What I'm hoping it is just the power supply, but we'll see. I mean, worst case scenario, the motherboard might be fried, but we're gonna open it up and take a look, see what's going on. So yeah, I guess there's nothing else to it but to grab the egg carton and get to work. All right, so first things first, let's unravel this thing here. We ain't gonna need the AV cable anytime soon, so we'll just pull that away. Set that aside. And then we're gonna remove the power supply. And yeah, I do see water in there. Yeah, I'll bring you all in on this one. I hope this comes up on camera. I don't own any lighting equipment. So pulling out the power supply here, I see some kind of residue down here. Now what I'm kind of suspecting, I mean, that could just be grime, a little bit of grime from over the years, but I don't know. To me, it seems kind of like more like standing water and dust mixed in. Yeah, and even that residue is even on a little bit on the bottom of the power supply there where it sits down there. So yeah, that's not good. Alright, well, we'll just set the power supply aside for now. We will open that after we get the N64 apart. The one thing I don't like about Nintendo's is that they do have their own special bit, and they are a little bit annoying to get out. So if you are opening up an N64, you will need to get a special security bit that only Nintendo used. Luckily, my kit came with it. My screwdriver kit. Put a link in the description if it's still available. The reason I don't like these bits is they're a little bit annoying to get a good grip on. Alright, so we got 6 screws to take out. And then once you remove the screws under these that hold these black feet in, those just come right out. Alright, so we'll speed this process up along, and I'll see you at the next part. Alright, next thing we do have to do is we do need to remove this. I think they make a special tool for it, but I obviously do not have it. Jump packs is such a pain to get out. If I lift up the back a little bit, I can force it up. Yep, there we go. Now Now the top of the shell should just come right off. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, it looks pretty clean inside. Actually, I don't really even see, aside from in the back, I don't really see much, any standing water spots or anything like that. All right, now next up, we gotta get this out of here. Trying to just remember which ones are the ones that just go straight into the chassis, but either way, we gotta take this top shield off. So, pretty much, at this point, every single one of these screws is coming off. Is that what I think it is? No way. Heh, something was living in here. Hold on, I'll bring you in on this one. This looks like a spider sack or something. Some bug was living in here. I mean, that's not the first time I've seen that. Yeah, that looks like kind of like a spider sack. Not the worst one I've seen. I've seen spider sacks and disk drives and stuff before. I mean, it happens. Alright, where were we? Oh yeah, removing the 50,000 screws that are in here. Alright. Let's do it. Some of these screws do have a washer on them. Kind of looks almost like a gear. Yeah, you're just going to want to take note on where they came off of. And you also want to pay attention to where the silver screws are. But those are pretty easy to remember just because they're on the ports in the back there. Alright, the ones here, we're just gonna come back to these. This is ridiculous. The ones here by the cartridge reader are gonna be longer screws. So just want to be aware of that. Man, I've never seen more screws holding down a shield ever in my life. Alright, so we're just gonna take all this stuff out. There's something in here. Feels greasy. It might be normal. I vaguely remember my N64 being greasy too. I am seeing some more evidence here that there could have been water. Well, I know there was water in here, but a little more evidence. There's kind of just some brown stuff here. It's just very lightly caked on. But yeah, there's a little bit of brown in other places too. I mean, other than that, I'm gonna guess that the water that flooded this was fairly clean. I mean, for being in a flood, I've definitely seen way worse consoles, so. All right, well, let's put this in the box to be washed, and then we'll get to the motherboard. All right, we'll finish up taking off the shield. Yeah, there's some crud down there. There we go. Oof. some rust in there. Yeah. Not good, not good. Just looking at the board visually, I mean, it doesn't really have, well, really any evidence except the rust here, which I think we might be able to clean off. I think that's just on this shielding over the expansion port. Otherwise, I don't see really anything visually, at least, that's jumping out at me. Like I've seen way worse consoles, that's for sure. All right, now that we have the board out, I'm just gonna be leaving this aside for the next couple days, just in case there's any extra water in there. I mean, I just rather play on the side of caution, but we'll finish up the disassembly and then while we're waiting for that to dry, we'll clean the rest of the console. This part's pretty easy. You just gotta take these two screws out and then remove the switches and then the cartridge door. Okay, so I'm gonna go out on a limb and assume since this was plugged in when the flood happened, this power supply is probably toast. But my thing is, we might as well take a look at it. God, do I hate these screws. My God, the struggle is real. Whoa. Wow. I'm gonna bring you guys in on this one. Holy crap. This power supply is complete trash. This thing is gone. There is no salvaging this. Wow. Just completely fried this thing. Whew. Good Lord. Yeah, this thing completely fried. If you look on the bottom there, that's just all damage from the flood. Yep. Well, we'll definitely need to get a new one of those. Whew, man, that power supply, I can actually smell it burned from here. So, that's hopeful actually, because I don't see any visual damage to the board, so that makes me feel a little better. I do want to give it a couple days to dry just in case. I just want to err on the side of caution, so we'll pick this up in a couple days. For me, but for you, it'll be instantaneous, as quick as a snap of the fingers. Alright, so we're at my sink now, and let's clean it up. All we need is just soap and some warm water. We'll start off cleaning the little pieces. I just use a toothbrush. When you're cleaning components though, make sure there's nothing metal in here, because when you put it all back together, any kind of metal parts will rust.
When you clean the top shell, you definitely want to focus around the power port and the power button and the reset button. So all you Nintendo guys and girls probably know, or have experienced it at some point, the reset button gets stuck on these things a lot. And the reason is because gunk gets in there over time, and then the button doesn't release. When all you really need to do is just take the top shell off, pop the buttons out, which is really easy, and then just clean them. And then you won't have to worry about it again. I think it's had enough time to quote-unquote air dry, just in case there was any water in there. So I have it hooked up to my N64's power supply. I put in the customer's jumper pack, and their game, and their controller. So let's take it for a test. Oh great, expansion pack not found. Okay, that's fine. No controller pack was found in controller 1. That's fine. All right, let's just make sure this boots. I think this is some great news. Nice. Very good. Everything seems to be working as it should. All right, cool. All right, so I'll contact the customer, let them know that it is working, and all we need is the power supply. So let's go back to the bench, and we'll just clean up this board a little bit and put this thing back together. So next step we got to do, we just got to clean up this board a little bit. Looks fine, but we have a little bit of rust. So we'll take a little bit of our 91% isopropyl alcohol and give it a clean. So we have some rust on a couple of the RF shields. It looks like it's just on the surface, so we'll just use a little isopropyl alcohol, a toothbrush, and a pick. Get as much of it off as we can. And I'm using 91% alcohol for this. Only reason is like 71% just has more water in it, and rather not get more corrosion on here. Not that I think it would really corrode because it'll dry quick, but just my preference. So let's see if I remember how this all goes back together. Alright, now all the screws have to go back. Alright, so we're going to need the bottom shell. Place it in before we start screwing things down. Okay. So now I'm left with these two long screws. I'm assuming that they go here. I mean, through process of elimination. Now the silver screws go where the power port and the AV port are. Well, in my quest to get this YouTube video shot quickly, I forgot to put in a few parts. So I had to take the motherboard back out and drop the parts I need in. Oh well, it happens. Alright. Let me put Humpty Dumpty back together a second time and I'll see you at the next part. Well, with that embarrassment out of the way, we can finally move forward. Might as well just start off with the switches here. Start off with power. And the reset. Next up, let's see if I remember how to put these springs back on. Try not to lose it. I'll find out in a second if I have them on right or not. I think they can only go on one way, so. I think I have that one on backwards. Either way, we'll see. These can only go in one spot, so. Just check it. Yep, we good. You just need to put the screws down on that. Alright, power switch down, power switch down. Slide it on top, cool. We're in the home stretch now. Gotta put these on. We can start dropping some screws in. These special real pain in the butt security screws that Nintendo likes to use. Problem with them is these things always just slip right out of the bit because they're kind of rounded. All right, excellent. We are all set here. So this really was like the best case scenario for this customer. So basically it was just great that the power supply basically took the entire brunt of the damage. So it's all set here. It's all nice and cleaned up and ready to go. So I think my customer will be very happy with this one. So thank you so much for coming along on this journey with me. And as always, if you like the video, and if you'd like to subscribe to see future projects, hit that subscribe button below, and thank you again for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one.